The big news is that John Boehner, Speaker of the House, Republican-controlled House, of course, has agreed to a temporary debt ceiling increase in exchange for negotiations to reopen the government and end the government shutdown. We're going to be following if and when that happens. And we've continued to see the repetition ad nauseum of these talking points that are just not based in reality. We've had for days now, we've known that the votes were there to reopen the government. Of course, John Boehner not calling a simple, clean vote on this. And we keep hearing, Lewis, that President Obama won't meet with us from the Republicans. We're so sad. He's ignoring us. He's throwing us to the curb. He just won't talk to us, like kids on the playground saying that other boy won't speak to me. And it turns out it's just not true. President Obama has again invited all House Republicans to a White House meeting. Almost all of them declined. The president is starting his meetings today, meeting with the full House Democratic caucus. But when he invited House Republicans, they couldn't bring themselves to accept his offer without twisting themselves into a knot. Boehner's office said yesterday that the Republican leader would send a small group to Obama's meeting Thursday, but not the full invited caucus. Boehner spokesman Brendan Buck said the meeting would only be worthwhile if it was focused on finding a solution. So Buck said that only the elected leadership and certain committee chairmen would attend. How would it be possible to find a solution if you don't even send the full group? Everything that is being done, Lewis, I know this might sound crazy, but it's almost like the Republicans don't want to just get this thing resolved quickly.
Well, why would they? They're the ones who put it in place. And the blame game continues and the obstructionism continues.
As Jed Lewison said on Daily Kos, if you're like most people, you're probably shaking your head at the fact that Boehner rejects a full conference meeting just one day after claiming that the Republican Party only shut down the government in the first place because President Obama wouldn't talk to them. And as I've said on this program before, over the last 6 or 7 months, President Obama requested 18 different meetings with Republicans in order to try to figure this out. And we just watch out when you're reading whatever corporate newspaper you look at or watching corporate news or whatever the case may be. Just remember that the framing is completely wrong. The votes have existed to end this for days. The opportunities to prevent this were numerous for months. And the Republicans who are claiming Obama won't meet with them are just not showing up to the meetings that they're invited to. It's a complete and utter farce. And we can disagree over the specific seriousness of this versus going into a war that didn't make sense versus any other particular thing. But what is clear is that the level at which Congress is operating in terms of like, are they at a 12th grade level? Are they at a kindergarten level? It's very, very low with this particular debacle.
Not just the maturity level. It's also the complete disregard for those affected by the shutdown. I mean, it seems like the vast majority of our politicians, or at least of our Republicans, just don't really care that this is hurting the country.
Total disregard, absolutely.